So basically, we'll be talking about why security awareness is a career advantage in an office environment. I'd like to introduce myself a little. I'm Jordan Nicholas by name. I'm a cybersecurity analyst. At the moment, I work with Southern Eastern Railways. I've also been able to work with other organizations such as ECOWAS in the past. So introduction today is basically talking about in today's world, security awareness has become, it's not a one-man job anymore. It's not just a cybersecurity role anymore for one person. It's everybody now. Everybody now has to wear that tag of being a cybersecurity analyst in the organization. Because as far you're connected to the network, as far you work in the office where you have the same infrastructure is being shared with your system, you have to be aware of what links you click. You have to be aware of what applications you download from the internet. As business continues to grow, cyber threats have become more sophisticated, frequent. Like before now, I could think of like it takes a lot of time to actually create attacks for an industry. But at this point, with the use of AIs, they're actually creating large quantities at the moment. Like I think we have seen how AI rapidly help us create different things to get our hands on. So it can be a document, it can be a research, but that is the same way is used by attackers too in the cybersecurity world to create malware, to create scripts, to help create applications, to help create links to also fool each and every one of us. And that is what we'll be fighting against today. That is basically what I'll be talking about today. That is basically what I want each and every one of us to be aware of today. It is no longer a one-man's job, and it is everybody's job to pay attention to it. It could be an email you received with attachments, and you have to be aware. Be aware of these attackers, how they prey on people, how they use different attributes. It could be fear, it could be trust. They just find a way to make sure they could prey on you to trick you into clicking this malicious link, downloading a file or a document into your system. So, understanding security awareness. First of all, security awareness basically refers to the knowledge and understanding of cybersecurity risks, safe digital practices, and organizational security policies. As it involves recognizing potential threats and knowing how to respond appropriately to reduce this risk. And there are some points basically of how cyber attacks occur. Basically, these points have been listed here on this PowerPoint script here. Basically, the first one goes how hackers manipulate employees, the importance of data protection, safe internet and email practices, password security, and secure handling of company system and information. And so we'll start first, how hackers manipulate employees. Basically, hackers frequently use psychological manipulation techniques such as social engineering to trick employees into revealing confidential information or performing unsafe actions. It could be on their work systems, it could be on your personal systems, but it basically lives on that. It basically lives that it has to be a trick, since it's not real. They have to trick it to believe, like pretend to be somebody else. It could be a link pretending to be somebody else. And another ways they do it that is more that makes it look more real is when they have a company that's already been infiltrated, they tend to send emails from that company that's infiltrated to make it look more professional and make it look more real. Like I've seen cases where they have been able to use a compromised worker's account from an airport, and it makes you look more real that, okay, this is coming from a legitimate source, it's coming from an airport, and they're telling you about, oh, we have this promo going on, or we have this event going on, and you could click the link and be a winner of this trip. And many people, without going further, just click these links, and that's the beginning of trouble. So it goes beyond, every one of us has to be actively watching out. It goes beyond just a cybersecurity analyst or engineer watching out for the whole organization. Everybody needs to watch out. So it could be also impersonating managers, IT support staff, customers, as example, trusted companies through emails or phone calls or fake websites. And also, I don't know if everybody has heard about the deep fake calls now, where they use AI to clone voices. And when you clone those voices, you can make use of them. As much as we're trying to be protected with devices, people, I think it's more easier to manipulate people with their devices, because devices can be hardened to different degrees and it's more complicated. But manipulating people is the easiest way for everybody. And they basically exploit fear, urgency, trust, curiosity, or authority to manipulate victims. And by each and everybody recognizing these tactics, employees become less likely to fall for scams and fraudulent requests. So you just basically have to watch out for them. And most of the time, it doesn't have to be phishing, but like most of the time, people are just expecting phishing. It could be using your laptop for an energy source for crypto farming, which basically kills your system after a long period of time. So those are the kind of things we need to watch out for. And we also have to have the mindset of the importance of data protection. Data being a valuable asset in any organizations. Businesses storing data, financial records, employee data, details, and intellectual property and communications. A security-aware professional understands that protecting this information is crucial and is essential to maintaining customers' trust and business reputation and legal compliance. I think poor data management is very risky. When this hackers or group of people get their hands on it, they basically blackmail companies into releasing confidential information and data, basically. And therefore, employees must know how to handle sensitive information carefully and follow security policies at all times. I think it's important that we learn to follow security policies that have been basically be put down by the company, penned down by the company. I know as employees, we tend to want to do things the easiest way or the fastest way and thinking nothing can go wrong. But we should also look at it in the sense that it doesn't need to go wrong 1,000 times. All these people are looking for is for it to go wrong one time. It's not like I'm looking for it to go wrong 100 times in a month. I'm looking for it to go wrong once in 5 years, and that's already done the damage that needs to be done. So basically, safe internet and email practices. The internet and email systems are among the most common entry points for cyber attacks. Basically, that is basically speaking on phishing, downloading of scripts, and basically every security aware professionals understand the importance of browsing safely, avoiding suspicious websites, which is a major problem because employees tend to use their work systems and their work phones to go on different websites, and they really do not know this website in particular. It's just like jumping from one website to another and you're in a malicious website all of a sudden. So basically you need to also watch out and make sure you're in safe pages. You can't just be in any malicious pages or malicious websites, basically. And you have to be cautious when opening links, basically with attachments from unknown sources. You can't just open every email. Like if you're not expecting an email, like me, if I'm not expecting an email, I see no reason to open it. So you should also be understand how to identify these phishing mails, fake login pages, malicious downloads, and basically safe internet and email practices help prevent malware infections, which are also a dangerous one. We have malware infections on systems, credential theft, and unauthorized access to company systems. And now we'll talk about password security. Password security are basically the first line of defense in unauthorized access to systems and accounts. We all know what a password is. We all know how we use them in our organization. These passwords, it's a problem in the sense when people use passwords, people tend to use something they can easily remember, which also can be brute forced or can be guessed due to the fact like it's something so personal and close to you that people can read out of you. Some people can just use their name and be like I can use an example. Your Esther can be like Esther 123, Esther 365, and it's just somebody willing to try Esther Titus 1 as your password. And that is something that we should be aware of, that we need to constantly change our passwords because sometimes passwords get leaked. And when these passwords are leaked, some people don't tend to change their passwords. You just leave your passwords for a long period of time. And I think passwords should be changed, I think, every 3 months, every 3 months, every 2 months, basically, every 2 to 3 months. And basically, they should be really not something related to you, basically, a mixture of caps letters, numbers, symbols, and basically small letters also. And basically, like, I normally do a 16 digit or 16 piece basically length of for a password basically, because it's more complicated to brute force to attack due to the fact it's a mixture of all those. But you just using your name, using your maybe your dog, your club, your football club, are basically things that they already expect to see. So we have to have unique passwords also. Unique password help, and they're difficult to guess or crack. We should avoid reusing passwords. When password is changed, you should avoid reusing it. You can't be using the same password. That's also an issue. And often you can use the password manager if you have a problem remembering passwords. You can actually use the password manager in the sense like if you download the password manager, you can put your password, you can generate passwords there, generate lengthy passwords with a mixture of all capital letters, small letters, numbers, and everything to make sure you're more secure. And then we have to have MFA enabled too on all our accounts also. It's very important. In a situation where a password is gotten and it has enabled MFA on it, it also saves everybody the problem, because now you have the username and the password and you try to log in, there's an MFA in the sense it has to be authorized by either an authenticator or one form of text message or the other. It basically adds another extra layer of security to us and our devices. And this is now secure handling of company system and information. Basically, employees regularly use that company's devices, applications, database, and communication systems. Security-aware professionals understand how to use the system securely by following company policies and best practices. This includes locking devices when unattended to, securely sharing files, and avoiding unauthorized software. This is another problem. Unauthorized software is a huge problem. In the sense, many people think like the Play Store and the App Store is a safe space where anything you download is actually okay and it's fine and has been processed and checked. But we keep on seeing many malicious applications that are created and posted daily for people to use. It can be as little as an application that is telling you, oh, it's a little game, or it's a touch, or it provides a touch light for your phone, or it does one activity or the other, but it's basically embedded with malware in the sense when you download it, these people have access to information on your devices. They are not supposed to have access to probably your safe passwords on your devices, and that's basically what they want. So I've seen where many employees are like, oh, I just downloaded this from the Play Store. These applications and this software have to be authorized properly by your organization security team, who have to basically look into these applications and make sure they are authorized before you can download it on your work devices or your personal devices, because malware are actually embedded in all these applications, different applications. I've seen some of them, how they work, and it's fantastic how they work. You won't suspect a thing because they basically work in the background. You are thinking you're just playing a game, enjoying yourself, but in the background, it's basically scraping a lot of data from you, like giving them access to. It could even give them access to your cameras. They could be turning on your camera when you're not there, turning on, checking everything on your devices, information on your devices, which is very risky. You don't want your company's information out there in the public when it's open, especially when it's something that's supposed to be private. And we should tend to report suspicious activities. There's nothing wrong with reporting suspicious activities. Many people tend to have problems reporting suspicious activities due to the fact they think it's going to cause problems between them and the organizations. But it's better for you to basically, if you suspect an activity is going wrong with your device, or is acting in a way it should not act, open applications you should not open, or you keep on seeing new files on your system or your phone that you should not be seeing, then you should talk to your IT department about it, as they can help to resolve whatever issue you could be facing. Now we go to the human error, which is basically the largest security weakness. And basically why this is very important is because human error is the biggest cause of cybersecurity incidents worldwide. It's basically someone that is letting something through they're not supposed to let through, someone that is clicking a malicious link, opening infected attachments, using weak passwords, sharing confidential information improperly, falling victim to phishing scams, or ignoring security procedures. And these are the kind of stuff we should watch out for. While the machine does its part, we also have a part to play also. We should watch out for these links, attachments, the use of weak passwords, sharing confidential information improperly. They are all procedure. I think there are procedures made for this from the IT department on how all this should be done, on how if you want to download an application or make use of an application in the workspace, they have to be approved first. Also, on links, you should be careful. Also, you should know the kind of links you should click on. Also, because that is basically the easiest pattern that is mostly used worldwide. Another problem is we actually face is called quishing, where instead of giving a link anymore, because most of the time we have security systems that could actually stop these links when they suspect them for being malicious. Or most of the time now they're converted into QR codes, and it just is scan. It just is scan away for you to get into these links, and many people don't notice it because they think, oh, a QR code is safe. A QR code is not what you're expecting, because you definitely what your IT team would have preached to you is basically about a link. You should be careful of links. What QR codes are also used now in the sense like when you are basically expecting a link and a QR code comes and basically say, oh, a cinema is giving out free movie tickets and the QR code is right there. And it's basically telling you to just scan the QR code and log in with your Google account. And basically that's a big problem because you're thinking it's a normal link, but you've basically scanned the QR code and you've given away your credentials without knowing. Security professionals have a way of thinking, and this is how we should be thinking before acting. You should think critically before acting in terms of links. Is this link secure? Am I clicking on the right link? Should I be clicking on this link? Why am I clicking on this link? You should also verify suspicious requests. We should tend to follow security policies carefully. The policies that are drafted down are drafted for a reason, and it should be followed. In the sense, it keeps both you and the organization safe. All they are looking for is for one person to fall for it, and just that one person, depending on how the scale of the attack is, can literally cripple the whole organization. And next one will be recognize unusual behavior or communications. You should definitely recognize unusual behaviors in the sense, let's say you are getting an email from somebody you're supposed to get once a month from at a particular time, maybe at the ending of the month. You should be aware, like, okay, this is when I'm expecting this. And all of a sudden you're seeing it in the middle of the month. Because when these people tend to get access to this information, they tend to also read and notice how you perceive this information. They don't just go and start quickly hurrying up and drafting or creating malicious links. They tend to see how you work with them, how you operate with them. Like, let's say someone gets into your mailbox, and they tend to literally go through your mailbox, know who you're affiliated with, companies you talk with, people you talk with, and they're basically just gathering more information to know how you speak to these people, how you connect to these people, how they could basically connect to these people also, or how they should, for you to be able to actually do their biddings. That's what you should watch for. Unusual behaviors also, you should watch for unusual behaviors. Also, we should understand the consequences of careless actions. There are vital consequences for this. It could affect us, it could affect our company. If it doesn't affect them by resources, it could affect them by basically reputation. Nobody wants to go to a company where they're basically saying they keep on getting attacked and the attackers keep on actually succeeding. You don't want to keep your money in a bank where armed robbers are constantly attacking and making away with your money. All these kind of little things basically affect your company and affect you indirectly also as an employee. Protection against phishing and social engineering attacks are the most common cyber threats affecting businesses today. As I've said previously, phishing attacks basically involve fake emails message, basically designed to steal passwords, obtain financial information, install malware, trick employees into transferring money, or gain unauthorized access to systems. Either they're trying to steal your passwords, trying to know all your password or your information, or they're trying to get your information, financial information, basically trying to blackmail the company by getting information they're not supposed to have access to. And when they have access to this information, they're basically telling the company to pay a kind of sum of money, or they're going to release the information to the world. And due to the company not being able to risk it, they tend to think of, oh, we should pay this amount of money. Or you could basically be installing a malware or a spyware on your system where your system is still working perfectly and you never suspect a thing, but they're just basically watching everything you basically do on your system. Every information that you think is private between you and the company or between yourself, they're basically just, there's a third party in between, they're watching and taking notes of everything you're doing. Also, tricking employees into transferring money, that is basically, the BEC scams are actually another problem in the sense. People keep on falling for these scams where people pretend, these attackers pretend to be vendors to your company. And if an employee is not basically paying, is not paying attentive to it, it's transferring money to the wrong person, pretending to be a company that they have as a vendor. It's something we need to be careful about. Many people keep falling for this kind of scams also. Or they want to gain unauthorized access to systems they're not supposed to be gaining any allowance to, basically. And how about tax can cost organizations millions, basically, through downtime, operational downtime, ransom payments, legal costs, recovery expenses, lost productivity, reputational damage, and preventing attacks is significantly cheaper than recovering from them. It's basically easier for you to prevent them than for you to fix them. So that we should also watch out for that. Also, that's are the kind of way it impacts our companies. So we're talking about the best security practices for office professionals, which is basically we should tend to use strong passwords. Strong and unique passwords are very important. In the sense, I've explained this whole situation before, why we need to use strong and unique passwords. We can't be using something that's too familiar or something that's too close to us, as it gives the attacker a fighting chance to just keep on guessing and trying until they get your password. So a strong and unique password keeps you safe. Enabling MFA is actually very important also. Multi-factor authentication are also important to us. Then verifying suspicious emails. If you find an email to be suspicious, you can also report it to your IT team. And when you report it to your IT team, you may be surprised you're saving the organization, basically, because when you report it and the IT team sees it, they could basically go and make sure and see how many employees have gotten this same email and tend to recall them back, basically. And it basically saves you and the organization. And it basically gives you a good reputation too in your organization and shows how you are basically effective. Also, updating software regularly. Basically, we need to be patching our softwares regularly due to the fact, like at the moment right now, vulnerabilities are being found with AIs. AIs actually have the power to basically find vulnerabilities of softwares and applications. And in that sense, we also have to keep that in mind, that we should update our systems, update our applications as soon as there's a room for that. Locking devices when unattended to. Anything done with that system is traced back to you. There's no, oh, I didn't know, I didn't do this. You can't say you didn't do this when it's basically right there that your system was the one that basically carried out the action. Avoiding unknown links and attachments. Basically, you have to watch out for these links and attachments. You can't be downloading anything. You may think it's just a normal file and you just want to download it to check it. And reporting suspicious incidents immediately. There's no need for you to try and hide it, for you to be scared or worried. The faster you report it, the safer it is for everybody. And following companies' security policies is very important. As I've said earlier, these policies are made to be followed. They are made because they want to keep you and the company secured. You don't want your information leaking out there to your information you give to the company is also the company. You don't want it to be leaking out there to the public. Conclusion is basically security awareness is one of the most important professional advantages in modern office environments. As organizations became increasingly digital, cyber threats continue to grow in complexity and in frequency. Employees who understand cybersecurity risks and safe practices and data protection responsibilities help organizations remain secure, compliant, and operationally resilient. In today's technology-driven business world, security awareness is no longer optional. It's no longer like, it's not optional anymore. It's not like a one person's job, it's everybody's job. It is essential professional skill. It's an essential professional skill that provides a significant competitive and career advantage. It's the cyber awareness now is basically a cap everybody has to wear. It's no longer for the IT team or the security team. Everybody has to be involved in it. That'll be the end for me. Thank you so much.